6:30.
Live streaming.
So you're gonna need a road?
Let's get moving.
I'm gonna say if you did, I can save you some money on that.
Oh, well, let me.
It's okay.
All right, well, I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item of business is the approval of the agenda.
I move in second.
A second.
All right, we got a motion from Mike and a second from Vanessa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Next up is the approval of the minutes from the November meeting.
I'll second.
All right, I got a motion from Vanessa and a second from Tim. And a third from you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Well, let's move right along to staff reports, Wichita Fire Department.
Where do I stand?
Right?
Alright.
Okay. Where's your tutu?
Well, my tutu?
I thought you were gonna dance.
You didn't get the memo on the DAP 3 tutus?
I actually own a dancewear store.
Oh.
That's why I told him, like, you guys been talking to my wife? What's going on? I'm Mark Mishak. I'm typically the captain at Firehouse 2 on South Broadway and Lincoln and Broadway, and then filling in as the capacity of acting battalion chief today for the South Side since my chief is off. So that's why I'm here with you this evening. I believe you get a copy of this. So I'll kind of touch on some highlights by all means. If you guys have any questions, I'll start with kind of just reviewing the community risk reduction notes. As it is the holiday season, kind of some of the notable things, over almost half of our structure fires related to Christmas decorations this time of year are related to candles. So they want to remind everybody again that as you're decorating for this time of year, this season, encourage people using more battery operated devices, opposed to actual candles. But if you're using real candles, make sure that they're at least 12 inches away from flammables. The other thing I think that's pretty notable from the data that was in this is that over 30% of Christmas tree related structure fires happen in January after Christmas is done. So just keep in mind that as Christmas trees dry out, typically as the holiday goes along, it stays up just out of inconvenience. Nobody wants to put the effort into taking things down. They also tend to not water them as well. So to me, that was kind of one of the notable takeaways from some of the community risk reduction notes is that a significant number of fires actually occur more related after the holiday than during the Christmas season. Outside of that, it's been a really busy last couple of months in the District 3 area as far as fires go. To date, our fire investigative unit has investigated 33 vacant structure fires. 22 of them were related to squatting. So where basically the home is not normal use and somebody is occupying the home that doesn't have ownership of it. On top of that, specifically the District 3 fires, there were, I think, 2 in the last month and change that were either undetermined or accidental. Pretty much everything else was arson related. A lot of them involved vacants or something like that. I know there was a large fire at a car lot that did a significant amount of damage that was undetermined. So, again, the city does their level best to try to deal with situations when we have vacant homes where there may be squatting. From our end, all we can encourage is that if you see something, don't hesitate to call 911. We'll respond out. We'll do our due diligence to make sure that the fires are extinguished. But sometimes I think that from the outside looking in, that process of trying to deal with those properties, especially when they get caught up where the homeowner has passed away or something like that, it's just a complicated process for the city to try to navigate that. So I just ask that if you have a repeat issue, feel free to reach out to your councilman. Equally, sometimes it just requires patience. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. So outside of that, probably the other notable thing in District 3 was In the first part of November, the governor was actually able to come down and sign the proclamation dedicating, the annual firefighter memorial that the Kansas Fallen Firefighters, or the Kansas Firefighters Museum, located right next to Firehouse 2, has finally been designated as the state memorial. So this has been years in the making. I believe you worked in this in some capacity as well. So yeah, so again, thank you for your efforts there. That's something that I know the members of the museum have been working at for a long time. So that recognition means a tremendous amount to them and their efforts. So outside of that, unless there's something else I'm supposed to do, I'll stand for questions.
So if you have the dance store, the dance costume store, does that mean you can dance as well?
I don't, no, it's like my wife isn't very good at putting out fires. But yeah, she was the dancer, but yeah, that's what my other business is, I guess, if you will. Sure.
Do you have any information on the Boston and Mosley fire that just happened, or will that be next?
It's under investigation right now. It was a fatality fire, as you're well aware. You know, outside of that, the department is doing, we call it an after action review, and they're scheduling that for next week. So at this point, any information I have would be speculative. You know, speaking to the crews, the first arriving crews responded, it was a very, very challenging fire for them. Significant amount of heat. Part of that has to do with the structure that was involved and the materials the structure was made out of. So it was very challenging for them to get that fire under control. Outside of that, though, I don't have anything that's been officially released yet. Like I said, even internally, I won't have what we consider clean data until next week. So probably the next meeting, they should have a good report for you. Yes.
Did the man that died, did he live there? They said that there was an apartment.
To my understanding, he was a resident in an apartment inside of that building, which is, you know, seems kind of strange. It's not that uncommon for us to encounter that. There's an automotive shop in town that comes to mind that I went to a fire 2 years ago, that just an automotive repair facility, and they had an apartment upstairs. So we do encounter that from time to time. That was a little bit of a unique structure. It's not something I would say I would have anticipated if I responded to that fire, but the way that we kind of go about doing our business, we always assume that there's victims inside, whether they're residents or not. Yeah. So to my knowledge, there was an apartment in the structure. He was a resident of that apartment. Any other questions? Sir.
You deal with the fire department up there, roughly 21st and Amadon. Is block east of Amadon, about a half block.
Firehouse 7, it's technically a part of this battalion. I don't respond with them very as often, but.
Well, I called in a car fire yesterday, and it was a fire. It was flame coming out, and them guys got bigger ones than I do, because they pulled right up on it, got out and right to work. They did an excellent job. I just want to commend them on that.
Well, no, I appreciate that. They are under the jurisdiction of this battalion, so I will make sure to send either myself or the regular battalion chief to someone know. So yeah, I appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
When I called it in, they was wanting the location. And I said, well, they've got it now because I saw the lights come on the fire station, so they're coming out. But they pulled up and started hosing her down and took the saw and get the hood open, and they did a good job on it.
Good.
I was ready for an explosion. It was burning that good.
It's not usually like in the movies, but stuff still does pop from time to time, so.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you both. Yeah, I got all of it.
Stay safe.
Thank you, sir. You too.
Wichita Police Department.
Hello, Officer Jensen here. Just a few things to touch up on as we're entering into the holiday season. Obviously, we just finished with Thanksgiving, had really good holidays. The Monday prior to Thanksgiving, we delivered over 150 meals to families in need that were donated by the Union Rescue Mission. and had a great time and interaction with the community. All the families were extremely pleased and grateful, which is just an awesome thing to be a part of. Obviously, as an officer, being able to be there on somebody's, to bless them rather than all the negative things that we have to deal with and all the high stress stuff. Right now, we're gearing up for Shop with a Cop, which will be this upcoming Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday after that. We're going to do two different events. The first one's going to be out at the East Walmart, and then the second one will be at the West Walmart. So we have, I believe, roughly 35 kids that have been picked for that, and so we're going to have a great opportunity to be shopping with them and help bless their lives. And then we're also, Union Rescue Mission also does meals for Christmas time as well. So there'll be another about 150 to 160 meals that will be delivered right before Christmas. And statistically, District 3 is looking really good. We're actually down slightly in all the major categories, which is awesome. But as a reminder, with the weather turning cold, please do not leave your vehicles running to warm them up and then leave them out, because that tends to lead to auto thefts and people stealing people's vehicles. During the cold weather, the storms and things, the auto thefts increase quite a bit because people do that. And so we just always try to encourage people to, if you're going to warm it up, make sure you're in the vehicle doing so. I know it's obviously not very pleasant sometimes because of how cold it is, but I'd rather you guys be unpleasant for just a little bit and uncomfortable and cold for just a tiny bit versus having to deal with all the stress and heartache of having your vehicle stolen and potentially wrecked and ruined and stuff like that. So the academy class is going. It's going to be graduating here in January. And then after that, the academy FTO, which is Officer Peppard, he will be coming back down to the south side to fill up our community policing team. And so we're excited to get him back, hopefully mid-January-ish, if everything goes as they tell us it is. So at that point, this is all I have. If there's any questions.
Any questions from Deb? Any questions from the public?
Yeah, I got one question for him. Is there, in the last, say, 2 weeks, has there been a report of a drive-by shooting in the 3900 block of Roseberry?
Did you say, has there been a drive-by in the 3900 block of Roseberry?
Right.
So that is on Patrol East. I believe there was. I don't know any of the details as that falls under their jurisdiction, and I have not looked into it personally.
Okay. Yeah, how would I find out about that? Nobody contacted anybody. My tenants there are not even talking about it. I know that they put a lot of rounds in that house.
Was it one of your homes?
Yes.
Okay, we can, Becca will give an update from Patrol East, and then she'll,
Okay.
I guess,
We don't have.
we don't have the
update.
information, but we can give
Oh,
you.
Yeah, we don't have a Patrol East update, but I'll get you their contact information.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much.
Stay safe out there.
Thank
Yeah.
you. You guys have a great night.
Wichita Public Library.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robin Douster. I am the Community Services Librarian for the Washington Library here in District 3. I will give some general library updates and then some specific to the Walters branch. We have on Saturday, December 13th, we're hosting a Come and Go Community Art Experience at the Advanced Learning Library from 10 to 2, and that's in partnership with Art Connecting Hearts, and it's an initiative led by a local philanthropist, Balbir Mather. Approaching total blindness, Balbir paints the shapes and colors that still appear to him and has local youth enhance each painting with their own youth touch. In honor of his 90th birthday, 90 of these paintings will be available to purchase, with proceeds going towards continued art activities for local youth in Wichita. Additionally, attendees can help name the art pieces, and children can contribute to a mural as a community art project. Also on Saturday, December 13th, from 2 to 4 p.m., the Advanced Learning Library will host a birthday party in honor of literary icon Jane Austen's 250th birthday. You're cordially invited to attend the Regency era themed party for tea, trivia, games, and more. Fans of the beloved author are encouraged to showcase their deep knowledge of the subject, debate about Austen's best work and adaptations, and don their most elegant Regency attire. And then as the year is approaching an end, the WPL would like to give a friendly reminder that there's still plenty of time to complete the 2025 Read ICT Challenge, a reading challenge in partnership with KMUW and the Wichita Eagle. Each year, Wichita's community of readers are challenged to read 12 books from 12 different categories of books, so readers can get out of their comfort zone and discover something new. So far, nearly 200 of the 1,000+ participants have finished the challenge, with nearly 8,000 unique books logged during this year's challenge. If you need more motivation to finish strong, please visit wichitalibrary.org/readict to find reading recommendations and ways to stay connected with other participants. Additionally, the Advanced Learning Library is going to host an all-day reading wrap-up party on Saturday, December 20th. Join us for a celebration of another successful year of Read ICT, where you can read, swap books, and get recommendations for any challenge categories you have left. After that, stay tuned for an announcement of the 2026 Read ICT categories, and more details on that are going to be coming soon. And then consider stopping by for a library branch near during your winter break for fun, engaging activities for families, teens, children, and early learners. While most school districts in the library are out from December 20th through January 4th, the WPL is the place to go to keep your kids learning, happy, and connecting with others. Visit the library's calendar of events at wichitalibrary.org/events to find exciting activities through the Wichita area during the break. And then please note that all Wichita Public Libraries will be closed on Wednesday, December 24th and Thursday, December 25th in observance of Christmas. Additionally, all locations will be closed at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, December 31st and Thursday, January 1st, 2026 in observance of New Year's Day. The Wichita Public Library wishes you a happy and safe holiday season. And lastly, the library would like to remind the public the meeting room facilities policy will be changing January 1st, 2026. Organizations and nonprofits engaged in educational, intellectual, advocacy, civic, charitable, or religious activities will be available to reserve for free, so long as the group and activities involved support the library's strategic goal to be a community hub for learning and engagement. As a result, meeting rooms will no longer be available to reserve for commercial purposes or private individual use. For more information, you can visit the library's website. And then for Walter's updates, the last family story time of the season was yesterday, Tuesday, December 2nd, and they will pick back up Tuesday, January 6th. Yesterday was also our last Maker Studio program of the year, entitled Oregon Star Holiday Garland. And there were 15 registered. This evening from 4:30 to 6:30 was another digital skills with no class on cybersecurity and social media safety, with 6 out of 10 spots filled. And tomorrow from 1 to 5 p.m. there will be a make and take program called Press Here, which is a drop-in craft for ages 4 to 11. Make your own interactive book inspired by Press Here by Hervé Toulet. December's board game afternoon occurs this Saturday, December 6th from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. It's a drop-in program and all ages are welcome. Come to a showing of the movie musical Rent at Lights Camera Library from 4:30 to 6:45 p.m. at the Walters Branch. Coloring pages and popcorn are provided. Our last Digital Skills with Next Step Alliance class for the year will be an open forum on Wednesday, December 17th from 4:30 to 6:30. Come and ask questions about any of our Next Step Fall Tech Series topics, including Word, Excel, AI, and more. Spots are limited, but you can register online at wichitalibrary.org/events or call 316-261-8500. And very last, on Monday, December 29th from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m., we'll be having a craft program for ages 6 to 18, and you can join us to make colorful beaded bracelets for yourself or your friends. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Robin. Any questions from Deb? Any questions from the public? Thank you very much. Do you have an update from Wichita Park and Recreation?
Hello, good evening, everyone. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, we're just saying hi.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the department highlights. We've got our Winter Wonderland happening this Friday, December 5th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at NASCAR Park. It's a free community event that welcomes the holiday season with a tree lighting ceremony and an opportunity for kids to meet Santa and Mrs. Claus. They can also write letters to the North Pole and enjoy s'mores and hot chocolate while listening to holiday music. And then this Saturday, December 6th, from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., we have the Carl Brewer Grand reopening. It's been renovated, and the opening will showcase the brand new facility with special guest speakers, food, fun, and class and program demonstrations, and self-guided tours. Then the City of Wichita and Sedgwick County are launching a year-long planning effort to develop a new comprehensive park and recreation master plan. This project will engage residents and identify their priorities for parks, community centers, and recreation programs in Wichita and Sedgwick County. The stakeholder meetings, public pop-up events, and open programs in Wichita and Sedgwick County will be utilized to elicit feedback and create a roadmap to help us take care of what we have, plan for future needs, and align limited resources with community and their priorities. O.J. Watson Park will soon be hiring a new park manager. The position has been posted with the application process closing on December 17th. And then Watson Park Christmas Express is going on from November 29th to December 21st from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at Watson Park. This holiday experience features a train ride to the North Pole where participants will meet Santa, hear a reading of the Polar Express, create a fun craft, and enjoy s'mores and hot chocolate. Registration can be done online and the cost is $20 per person. And then the Park and Recreation is partnering with the City Arts to offer introductory art programming at Recreation Center level, with advanced and specialized art classes being held at City Arts with shared instructors. We are targeting a 2026 launch. And then athletics is offering a new sport, the Miracle League Bowling. Miracle League provides opportunities for players with disabilities to join an athletic league with their peers and participate in a number of sports, including baseball, kickball, and swimming. So bowling has been added to the Miracle League and will be running during the winter months. Linwood Recreation Center will be offering their holiday camp to kids ages 6 through 12 when kids are out of school for the upcoming holiday break. Camp runs from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and the cost is $27 per day. Camp features organized games, activities, craft projects, and holiday fun. The Linwood Neighborhood Watch Committee is now meeting quarterly at Linwood Recreation Center. The most recent meeting was Saturday, November 15th, in which 25 area residents attended this meeting with plans to work together in an effort to deter neighborhood crime. And then the Plainview project update. We are in the early stages of planning for the community center. The new facility will enable Park and Rec to move out of the school and provide recreational, educational, and social activities for all ages within the Plainview community. And Colvin Recreation Center has their AM and PM latchkey program going. We offer it to the Colvin Elementary School. The program currently has 30 participants in the morning, and we have about 40 participants for the afternoon. And that's all I've got for you guys. If you have any questions.
Any questions from Dab? Any questions from the public? All right.
Going on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heather.
Yep. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening.
All right, I will read you your strategic communications updates and hopefully answer any questions you have. Your mayor and city council vote to enter into city manager negotiations with Dennis Marshall. These updates were given to us prior to yesterday's meeting, so I'm not gonna read that and just tell you that they voted and hired Dennis Marshall. Park and Rec Master Plan kickoff. As Heather mentioned, the city of Wichita and Sedgwick County have launched Imagine ICT, a year-long planning effort to create a new comprehensive Parks and Recreation Master Plan. The goal is to engage residents and learn their priorities for parks, community centers, and recreation programs in Wichita. The project will also review how the department operates and compare Wichita's performance to similar communities to evaluate how it measures up to both national and regional standards. The consulting team of RDG Planning and Design, Pros Consulting, and Venice Communications will facilitate stakeholder meetings, pop-up facilitations, and an open house. The schedule of those events are the pop-up events will be Winter Wonderland this Friday, and there will be at the Brewer Community Center dedication on Saturday as well. They will be at the North Maze Sam's Club on Saturday, the 13th. The Christmas Express at OJ Watson Park on Saturday the 13th in the evening. The North Meridian Walmart on Tuesday, January 20th in the afternoon. And the West Kellogg Walmart in the morning to afternoon of Wednesday, January 21st. They'll also have their public open house at the Boston Recreation Center gym, 4:30 to 7 p.m. Wednesday, January 21st. ETC Institute will also conduct a statistically valid survey to help determine parks and recreation priorities. Residents may receive the survey in the mail in January. The survey will be made available to the general public in February, and then we'll do that online. Mike and I both sit on that steering committee, as does the District 3 Park Board representative. So there is a lot of District 3 representation on that steering committee. If you have thoughts or anything you want to see happen, let one of us know.
Let us, yeah.
Yep. Questions about the city manager search or the Park and Rec master plan? No. That one I actually feel confident in answering.
Thanks, Becca. All right. Public agenda, we have no scheduled items, but off agenda items. If any members of the public would like to address the DAB, let us know. You can have 5 minutes. If we have no takers, we can move on to new business.
Yes, who?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Philip Zievenbergen with the Planning Department. Tonight we just have one conditional use application for your consideration. It's CON 2025-144. It is a conditional use request for an accessory apartment, so it's an additional dwelling unit in a single-family residential district. The property is located at 2947 south of Sage, which is generally Seneca and 31st Street, a little bit to the northeast of that location. You just want to go to site plan back up on page 5. Yeah. The applicant submitted site plan. You can see they're proposing 2 additional structures on the property. The main dwelling is the lighter colored one on the right-hand side of the screen. Only building B would be the additional dwelling unit. Building A is a detached garage, which doesn't have to go through a zoning review anyway. It does have to get building permits. But they do have them labeled over there. So we're just considering what building B is, and it would involve an additional dwelling on the site. The zoning code requires setback requirements for a accessory structure on the rear half of the property. They have to be at least 3 feet off the side property, at least 5 feet off the rear property, and of course, they can't be any easements. So if there's easements on there that are greater than that, they have to adhere to any easements. Based on what we see here, it looks like they're building outside of all of those things, so we should be fine on the site location of them. An accessory apartment has some conditions that have to be followed. There's certain things written into the zoning code, and then we essentially copy and paste them into the conditions of approval. That is part of the recommendation this evening. One of them is that only a lot can only have one accessory dwelling, so if this is approved, they can't come back and ask for an additional accessory dwelling, they would have to seek another type of zoning action to do that. Number two, the appearance of it would have to be compatible with the main dwelling. So essentially looking at the character of the area, typically in this area, you have hip or gable roofs, standard building materials for the outside of it. The accessory apartment has to remain under the same ownership as the principal structure, so we can't have a condominium here. It helps avoid kind of the multi-family type of situation and helps keep control over what's going on with the accessory dwelling. And then the public utilities, so water and sewer, have to be under the same account. So they'll work with MABC, the construction department, on hooking up to the existing services on the site. That helps also make sure it doesn't become a condominium situation where they have a separate water meter or something like that. All the franchise utilities, so electricity, cable TV, satellite, things like gas lines, all those can be separate. It's just the public utilities have to be under the same ownership. If you want to go down another page, the character of the area in a mixture of single family, you can see all the surrounding sites, at least on the southwest and north, are single family homes. On the east side is some remnant lands and just open space around the lake of a larger apartment complex facility in the area. And then obviously you go on the other side of 29th Street South are apartments, and then there's a school to the southeast as well. So somewhat single family, but also some multifamily in the area. So adding additional dwelling unit, especially with lots as large as this one, these are a little bit longer and larger lots for the city. We find is fairly in character with the area distribution. The comprehensive plan identifies this area for residential uses that encompasses the variety of residential. So adding a single dwelling unit fits very well into that part of the comprehensive plan. This is also in the established central area. That's an area within the inner part of Wichita that stretches from Ridge Road on the west to Rock Road on the east, 31st Street South, and then 29th Street North. So kind of barely in it, but still in it. One of the goals of that infill plan is to encourage a diversity of housing options within the ECA to help retain or attract new residents to the ECA. Obviously, providing a different type of housing option is creating more dwelling units in the ECA, and it's helping people retain to live here instead of saying, hey, we need a bigger house or something like that and moving out. And so I believe this is a family situation where we're looking to kind of have a multi-generational lot going on. Overall, staff is recommending approval. Here we go up to page 3. There are 6 conditions of approval. Here at the bottom of the page, most of these are copy and paste of the standard regulations that are in the zoning code. We like to repeat them so they're easier for people to remember when they get approved for this. So the first one is that it has to remain under the same ownership, but they're only allowed to have the one, and it's associated with 2947 South Osage. The site would be developed in conformance with the site plan. So if it is approved, we stamp the site plan, and they can't necessarily build a building in a different location, or they would have to do a different process to adjust where the site plan is, and that way we can review to make sure they meet setbacks and things like that. Again, the appearance be compatible with the surrounding area. Water and sewer have to be provided with the same as with the same dwelling, but the franchise utilities can be separate. Number 5, the applicant needs to obtain all applicable permits, specifically building permits in this case. Number 6 is our standard language with conditional uses. They do run with the land. However, if there's some sort of violation, a continued violation of these conditions of approval, they actually can be revoked, and the house becomes not able to be habitable. We typically don't find those with these because there's not very much to violate. If they build into the right spot and they don't sell it in condominium, there's not much else they can do. So that is our recommendation of approval with those 6 conditions. This is going to the Planning Commission tomorrow for their consideration as well, so we don't have any insight from them. I have not heard any public comment against the application. I believe we have the applicant online. If you have any questions for them, otherwise I can stand in for any questions you have for me.
Any questions from Dan? Any questions from the public?
How are they going to have access to that property?
I can defer to them. If you go to the aerial real quick, scroll on probably page 6.
Yes.
There's an existing driveway here. There's likely enough space on the north side to extend it. That's something that we look at with the building review, especially if you're having a detached garage in the back. If you notice the detached garage is on the north side, that tells me that there's probably enough space on the north side of the house to extend a driveway back there. I don't know, Tristan or applicant, if you're online, if you have any other additional information.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, currently on the side of our home, we do have our fence opens completely, so like trucks can go in there. When the city people have came and tried to do things with the wiring and whatnot, they can get direct access to the backyard. So we're planning on putting, after of course getting approval and whatnot, we're planning on putting some sort of gravel back to the garage so that there's direct access instead of having to cover the entire backyard with rock, just the one access to the garage via the fence that's already there.
Thank you.
I'll bring it back to the DAB. For the discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion that we, however I'm supposed to word that. My brain won't work right now, but, that we accept the proposal as with recommendations.
All right, we've got a motion from Daniel to approve, along with the recommendations made, by staff, and then a second from Vanessa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
For online members, for those ayes. Perfect, thank you.
Good evening.
Thanks, Philip.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mike, you got any updates for us, or?
You guys want me to update or you just wanna go home?
The last time we'll make it good this year.
Update.
New manager.
Douglas. That's it. Those are like the least controversial things coming up there, Derek. Okay, yeah, spoke with Douglas. And there's a lot of things going on with Douglas right now. Honestly, it is probably like the 7th or 8th most controversial thing we have coming up in the next month, but it seems to get all the rage on social media and whatnot. People just have different tastes, different ideas. I know that when it went to the District 1 dab, it did pass 8-1, but they changed some things around there, added some bike lanes, went back to parallel parking. So now some people who are okay with the diagonal parking are against it, who were for the previous plan. We'll see.
Are there gonna be meters there?
Old Town is part of paid parking, the long-term plan, but the plan and kind of the plan I support is to make Old Town into a CID, which means that there would be an additional 2% added to whatever bill. We're working with the state legislature to try and extend that to alcohol sales, because currently CIDs do not apply to alcohol. If we can apply it to alcohol, it would only be 1%. So whenever you go downtown, and that would go into the parking fund to help cover the parking lots in Old Town. So that's the hope right now. I voted against the whole downtown parking thing. I always love telling people that's a feather in the cap, but I don't think people who go down to Old Town, I just think it'd be too burdensome for them to walk around, try and find a meter, use a cell phone to do it. I think a CID would probably be the better way to go there. Delano is the other part of the parking plan, and that one's been delayed a couple of years. And that one might be similar to CID, maybe there's parking meters there as well. I know the concerns of people in Delano, the business owners there are more trying to get people to move out of the spots a little quicker, because, I go to Picasso's Pizza, I'm always having to park a block away and walk. I don't mind the walk, honestly. I probably need it, especially going to Picasso's, but I do understand that there are people who want traffic to move, so that way people aren't sitting in the same spot for hours at a time. So that's more the concern with Delano. But no, Old Town, there shouldn't be any meters there, anytime soon in Old Town. It's just more designed. Some people love the road diets. It slows people down, slows people speeding down through the neighborhoods. Some people hate it with a vengeance. I think it's got its place, but it's pick and choose, you know, where you're gonna do it. Make sure you do it smart.
I think the angle parking is really dangerous. I
Yeah.
drive down there a lot and they just pull right out and be parked there all the time,
Yeah.
all up and down both sides.
See, I can understand that. I know there's also some concern, and I don't know that this plan even really addresses it too much about the buses outside of East High. Yeah, because I think this plan keeps it a one lane and then has a section for the buses to pull in. But that's just the same thing as having two lanes with the buses parked in one lane, so. I don't know, it'll come up for council, I don't know, the night of the 16th. We'll see. I have to look over the plan after we see it all. It honestly kind of snuck up on me on District 3 focused, and then a couple of weeks ago, I started hearing people getting all upset about Douglas. It's like, okay, now I need to pay a little bit of attention here. Council did raise water and sewer rates. They actually programmed it for the next 3 years. Kind of steep. We are getting caught paying for the upgrades, the water treatment plant, sewer treatment plant, and also the rising cost of everything, including chemicals. I voted against it. My main reason is I wanted to figure out something that was a little less burdensome on the bottom half of the population, people on fixed incomes. You look at the projections, if you're paying $60 in water and sewer bill now, here in a decade, you're gonna be paying $90. That's just where the rates are going.
My minimum's like 47.
Yeah, and see, that scares me.
Yeah.
That really does. I looked at cost of living adjustments, you know, people who are on social security or federal disability, it was 2.8% last year. 3.2% the year before, like 2.4 the year before that. It's just pricing people out, you know, so I wanted something that was a little more equitable and again, less burdensome on the people who are currently struggling to pay bills as it is. So I did vote against it. It passed 4-3. You know, there's good arguments both ways, but again, I just couldn't. I try and look out for people like that the best that I can. Property management, I know there's a few people here who that's a big one. They had their last meeting of the advisory group today. It really does seem like it's a ordinance that will appease people on all ends. They're trying to not make it so burdensome on just normal property owners, normal landlords, but really crack it down on slumlords. So tomorrow I'll be able to see the suggestions. That'll be coming to us next Tuesday as well. So it'll be a nice, long, fun meeting. I do believe that there will be suggestions for an advisory board to look at some of the rates, some of the slumlord fees. They want to go and actually put some fees into an account that will help people who are struggling to move, maybe paying some first rent or application costs or something like that. So figure out what would be an appropriate amount to find slumlords. Where can we get that money? Is that something? There will be some suggestions.
You decide slumlord, where do you picture that at? You can call anybody a slumlord now.
Well, we'll see what the property management
If
suggests.
you've been rode up 3 times, you're a slumlord.
Well, you not mow your grass, you're gonna be a slumlord now.
Well, see, they're avoiding that. They're avoiding appearances. It's mostly health centered. So black mold, for example.
You know, I got some pictures here, I'd love to show somebody,
Well, hang out afterwards and look.
you know? Of how my tenants left my houses. Do you got a deal for tenants?
That's,
No, you don't.
the landlord tenant act on the state levels does a lot of that. You can kick a tenant out for missing their rent 6 months.
Yeah, but you can't recuperate what they do to you.
We had a program there for 18 months.
I rented to a police officer that come to me and said, they've got to take this person off the street. 2 months later, I took 2 dumpsters to get all their stuff out of my house.
Mistake one, you took it from a police officer.
And I said, well, you guys gonna help me clean this up? No, all we did was give her the deposit. Thank you, I won't do this again.
That's your right.
Yeah, but I'm a slumlord because, you know, that's what they look like when you went by the house. And that happened in 2 months.
That doesn't mean you're a slumlord.
Well, if somebody drove by, that's what they would say.
Nah.
I mean,
Hey, take a look. Like I said, the suggestions will be coming out. You spoke at council last time, don't let the council speak again. See what you like in there. You're more than welcome to talk about what you don't like on there.
you know, that's why I'm coming to these meetings. I like to speak to them and, you know, I just want to know what you're gonna consider as a slumlord and I try to work on all my houses and make them look good and stuff like that, but you know, I got wrote up on some. But I showed you my pictures.
Yeah.
And you know, he wrote me up on and didn't even.
The answer to your question is you look yourself in the mirror and you know whether you're a slumlord or not. And that's the honest truth.
You know, I've got 29 houses and 12 of them are in your district. And I don't even know why I'm in doing this. I mean, but I took a lot of properties that were really bad shape and I made them look pretty good and did it pretty good. Most of them were empty, but they're all rented right now.
I appreciate that. And again, we're not trying to focus on aesthetics. We also keep in mind when it is a tenant. You know, let's keep that documentation. That's what I tell people, both tenants and landlords. Keep the documentation of the communication between you. I spoke about it at council as well because we had a landlord who told somebody, a tenant, when you take a shower, keep that window cracked. Make sure that the steam gets out. That's not the landlord's fault. That was the tenant's fault with that one. So please keep that documentation. Judges feel the same way as well. But yeah, that'll be Tuesday, so. Yeah, it's gonna be a long meeting.
Just like this drive-by shooting I was talking about. I was over working on one of my houses. I was like, fine, this house is shot up. Nobody has said a word about it.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, you know, not too long ago, one of them was shot up over next door and I get a letter from the police department saying it's a nuisance house.
Your property or the nearby one?
No, one of my properties. And you know, I didn't even know about it. Nobody.
Right. Well, that's one thing we try and do is let people know when the tenants are actually causing trouble with them.
And you know, the moment we knew that, you know, we evicted them and that, you know, we worked it out really quick with the police department, but you know, we gotta know before we can do anything about it.
Right, right. And I think that's what that was. That's letting you know.
You know, so.
I appreciate that. I'll see you Tuesday. Star Bond, that'll be up on Tuesday as well. The current Star Bond is to be phase 3 potentially. This is one that's out east. This is one that's actually performing really well. So we could close it down now, but there is a suggestion from some local developers about extending it and putting in a couple of other amenities, mostly sports related, including building a new tennis facility for Wichita State. They did lose their tennis facility. Some other things, a surf center where you can go in and surf even in the middle of winter. I'm not getting up on a surfboard anytime soon. Ice skating rink and whatnot. This isn't like the downtown one because the city's bearing no risk. We're not bonding this out. We're not loaning any money to any developers. What this is it's a state program and we are just like the final okay. So the sales tax from this district is currently not even going to the city. It's going to pay back people who developed phase 1 and phase 2. So the next step would be phase 3. Again, this is a Star Bond that is paying off and is performing. So if it doesn't work out the way they do, the developers are the ones carrying all the risk. They'll be the ones left with the bag, pulling the bag at the end of it. I haven't heard a lot of people necessarily against it. The only rub against it is for the first 4 years, about $500,000 in sales tax that would be coming to the city would be going to pay the developers. But the property taxes after year 4 will exceed that. So that way, long term, we will actually be making more money both off of property taxes and the sales taxes when that Star Bond district closes down in 2034, which I think was the original date anyways for it to close down. So just want to be upfront about that part of it. The rest of it is it would create jobs. It would be a nice amenity for the younger crowd. I'm too old for any of that anymore, but maybe Henry or Audie here in 10 or 20 years can go enjoy it. So that'll be on there Tuesday as well. With everything else going on Tuesday, it hasn't gotten a whole lot of press and publicity. But again, it's something you guys take a look at. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on. I would be reluctant to start up any Star Bonds because they are risky. But seeing how this is one of them that's actually performing, it eases my angst a little bit on that one because we're not going to be left holding the bag like we are with the ballpark, which is not performing. City manager search. It ended 5-2. I did vote against it. It's not necessarily a reflection on Mr. Marstall, who is the new city manager. It's more a reflection on the process, which I had many issues with. Some of them I can't talk about yet, some of them I can. Public participation, public input. That was one thing I talked about every single step of the way. I wanted WIN to have their own forum. I wanted neighborhood associations to be involved. This is what I talked about every step of the way. This is what I thought the search, not the search committee, but the consultant group was going to do. And then we get down to the last couple of weeks and it ended up being one public forum. So that was extremely disappointing to me. And that's one of the reasons was I wanted to go through a fair and open and transparent process. The other part, we'll see, we'll talk about here in the next couple of months, maybe, kind of my issues with some of the other things going on there. The last one is sales tax. There is a proposal that we will be hearing next Tuesday on sales tax. This would be a 1% sales tax, so 1 cent on every dollar for 7 years. And it'll be going in a couple of different pots. It will be overseen by a group that we appoint. The group that would, so if we pull something out of it or put some money somewhere, the group would say, okay, this was an acceptable use according to the language of the sales tax ballot, which would be, the vote would be in March. The main things that we are focusing on, the big one for me is $150 million for homelessness and affordable housing. We're in the 3rd district. We know what that's like. That would go into an endowment fund, and a percentage of that every year would come out and pay for the homeless shelter services down at Second Light. It would also be eligible for affordable housing projects. That might be something like, we see some of these modular homes that are being built now for about $120,000. It's not like the modular homes of the old days. If you go down on 14th and Estelle, 13th and 14th and Estelle, and you see them, you wouldn't really even know. You just need to pour a concrete foundation for it. They can move it on there. So it might be something to help close the gap there to make first-time home buyers have a home that they can actually afford. And I might also go for rehab of current homes as well, trying to keep some homes that are dilapidated now, putting some money into those, bringing them back up to an acceptable condition, keeping those on the market. So there's a number of ways that it would help with affordable housing. Again, there would be an oversight board. That's the main focus for me, is that and the homeless services. I think it's $110 million would go to property tax relief. Still to be defined. We can't just straight out lower the mill levy because it might change from year to year. But the thought is about 4 mills reduction on average. over 7 years. So after 7 years, if we don't continue the sales tax, it would bump right back up, so that mill levy would go back up 4 mils. There's a performance arts center on there, $75 million. And that would be a public-private match, because the private people here in Wichita, you know, kind of some of the movers and shakers would be responsible for coming up with the other half of that. 25 million into rehabbing Century 2, modernizing it, taking care of some of the issues there. About 200 million for a convention center. I think that's, and then also about 200 million for public safety. So that would be, if you look at our CIP right now, which is where we buy the police cars, fire engines, that would also include fire stations, police stations. We have Patrol South here that's going to get replaced in a couple of years. That would speed up that process. Every time we order a new fire truck, it's like 2-year wait before we actually get the fire truck. So being able to order those quicker would help long term. Also, being able to cash fund that, the CIP. The way the CIP works now is if we buy something for $10 million, we pay $5 million down. And then 5 years later, we pay $1 million a year to catch up with that on the back end. So we would actually be able to cash fund this, and it would save the city $26 million in the long run. So that'll be up for discussion on Tuesday. And again, it wouldn't be us that's voting on it. We would be voting to send it out to you guys to discuss it, debate it, and vote on it in March. I think it's not the plan I would draw up, but if you have 7 people trying to decide 7 different ways, I think it's a pretty decent compromise. And again, I just focus on that $150 million, which is really needed for homeless and affordable housing services. So that'll be up for debate. I'm sure January I'll get up here and you guys can read me the riot act on what you guys think and what you guys approve of on it and whatnot, but it'll be up for discussion over the next couple of months.
What is our sales tax in Wichita now?
We have a 1 cent county tax. We don't have any sales tax in Wichita.
You mentioned in that you would provide money for people to rehab houses and stuff for low income. Little story, years ago, they had that, county and city got together. Builders Incorporated, Garvey, and I think a couple others were involved in it. When the little man applied for it, couldn't get it. It was all gone, all used up. They used it all. They took it all, and they could afford to do it without getting into where the money needed to go.
Right. Councilmember Johnston and I both agree on that. We're on opposite sides politically, but that's one thing he's wanting to focus on too, is making sure that the little guys actually get a chance at this. One of the suggestions he's had as far as affordable housing is having just like a blueprint. And it's not different from person to person. So any new guy who's just trying to start out a contracting business can just use that blueprint and try and do a build on their own that way and start building up some revenue and some experience with it.
Well, I'm against Mennonite housing now because they started off good project, take an old house in a rundown area, go through, rehab it, make it all brand new, put in new plumbing, new central heat and air. Now you go into these places, they're all brand new houses. You used to have to go in and put in so much time doing it. You don't have to now. They do it. And once you take possession of that house, I can sell it to her.
That's a different experience that I've had with them. So most of them changed in the last 5
I had a big problem with them down by my house. And when I called Mennonite Housing about it, well, the contract's done. She moved in and it's out of our hands now.
Yeah.
Well, got robbed by the kid that gal moved out and told her brother, hey, if you want to move in, you can take it over and it's yours. And that's what he did. And he owns it now.
Huh.
But his son ripped off about 4 or 5 people in the neighborhood in the process. That got blown away.
I mean, I've helped on those before, and it was always my understanding that it was like 5 or 6 years that you had to stay in there before you could.
It used to be, but that it's not. And I used to donate a lot to them and a lot of building supplies and stuff. And I don't buy nothing from them, don't give them nothing.
Well, there's a big difference between Mennonite and Habitat for Humanity. The Habitat for Humanity, their guidelines are, I mean, they're very strict and they make you stick to them. And Mennonite housing does not have the same kind of, my experience with them is that they don't have the same kind of control over their housing units that Habitat for Humanity has. Habitat for Humanity is their houses are built to last, and the people that they get in there are people that have worked to get there.
Yeah,
We have a house on Spruce and Mount Vernon. I did some volunteer work for Habitat, and there's a house on the corner of Spruce and Mount Vernon that's a Habitat house. And the same people have lived there from the get-go. And I helped with the build up way up north, a whole community thing. And that area is doing really well too. So there's a difference between Mennonite and Habitat.
I'm for going in a neighborhood and taking an old rundown house and fixing it up, putting them in there. I'm not against that. It helps bring the neighborhood up. But when you go take 30 acres and flood it with Habitat or Mennonite homes, they're all tiki-taki homes, it brings the neighborhood down because it doesn't fit what is there now.
Well, it depends on.
Brings it up, but it brings it down.
If you go to the Rock the Block, up in northeast Wichita, I think it brings the area up. If you go and you see the actual, because they did that they were trying to focus on blocks there. And I think, I understand what you're saying where it's kind of house by house, but, if you see just where they just take $70,000-$60,000 homes and then they go through and they put on those same plots the Habitat homes, I think it's a little different there, from my experience anyways.
It's like my old house over on Gordon. We was the first one to put vinyl siding on. 5 years later, almost every house in the block had some kind of new siding on, new roofs. They cleaned the area up. Did the same thing over on Waco and Mount Vernon.
Well, I'm just waiting for a hailstorm to knock my vinyl siding off my house, so.
It'll be both.
Insurance don't pay very good.
No, anymore. What did the city decide to do about all these, boarded up, HUD houses and stuff?
We're selling them. We're putting them on the market. There's a handful of them that are so far gone, and in certain areas like, floodplains and whatnot, that, some people like Steve Philmeyer, he has about $15 million. He used to work at Koch Industries. He's one of the big ones pushing these modular homes. So he bought a handful of them that we are not going to fix up and put out on the market. And he's just leveling them and using the infrastructure there to put the modular homes on. So now that keeps those affordable. But most of them we are actually rehabbing. We're using some HUD money that we had and some ARPA money to rehab them and then put them on the market with affordable housing requirements with those. So we had most of them in our district, or the ones, the ABC houses down on in South City. I think there were 47 of them.
Yeah.
And I think most of those are either out on the market or have been sold now.
Got a question on that.
Yep.
The prices that they got on, are them firm prices?
We have to meet the minimum. So whatever the price is, I can't remember if it's HUD or if it's a local company, but whatever the minimum is, we have to hit that. So some of them it's like $100 more. If it's like a $100,000 house, we'll get a bid of 100.
The prices I've seen on them, I thought I can buy one that I can move into right now, per se. But them all that I looked at needed a lot of work and they was way overpriced.
Well, we go with the highest price, the best deal that we have. That meets the affordable housing requirements.
Right.
But yeah, for the most part, most of them come in above what we have them listed at. Some of them just come in like $100 more than what we have them listed, but yeah, those are hard limits. And that's a HUD requirement.
Yeah.
Any, Dan?
Question, I saw an article about the access to food program that we've talked about before that helps fund startup markets, things like that. The one that's down on Hydraulic, I think it's Harry.
Yeah.
Is it moving forward? I mean, they've done a lot of improvements to it, but it's been over a year and it's still not open.
Let me check on that one.
Okay.
I asked the Food Farm Council about that yesterday. They knew nothing about
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
supported by the Healthy Corner Store Initiative,
Yeah.
and there is a separate board that dictates that, so.
Well, I mentioned it because I heard it was part of our thing and then no one knew anything about it.
Well, there's one or two main, groups that are securing the food and then they run it down through I think it's McSee's, Mr. Max or something like that up in northeast of Wichita.
There's several food rescues and stuff going on. They're doing a lot, just like the schools, there's a lot of stuff going on there. But
Yeah,
it's not really our thing right there.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, let me check in on that one and I'll make a note.
Yeah, I heard the city bought the coolers for them and everything and then died out.
Yeah, and we own those coolers, so if a shop goes under or anything like that, we can take the coolers back, put them somewhere else. Further down the line, I think maybe they'll be eligible to sell, but that's after a certain period of time.
But something's going on down in that area because the old Midwest Sewing Center, they were gonna put a small grocery store in there and had the name up and everything there between Wassell and Pawnee on Hydraulic. They got it up, they was going gung ho and then they just quit. And with that said, the old Mike's Steakhouse
You know,
supposed to open up tomorrow as a restaurant. The guy told me they're serving breakfast, lunch and dinner. They're doing Mexican food too.
Huh.
Yeah. And he's got a restaurant in Belle Plaine, I think it was. So,
my best friend, one of my best friends, his dad owned that. So we would be at Longfellow during the day and sneak out during lunch and go get some ice cream there.
yeah.
So I wasn't always an upstanding citizen. Any other, but Ted?
Back to the tax thing. Convention center will be in our district.
No, the convention center will be added on to Century 2.
There's somewhere in that parking lot up there.
Well, it's not in the parking lot. It's an expansion of Bob Brown. So Bob Brown's kind of the convention center there now. It's just so,
So,
yeah, so
okay, and then the performing arts,
that will be decided later. I want it on public land. The downtown plan actually has it plotted out right next to the Drury Hotel. But that one will be discussed at a later time.
Like to the north of the
To
Drury?
the south of the Drury, I think. I haven't seen that plan yet. I'm not on that board. They will be bringing that to us, I think, the end of the month. This is just what I was told by Councilmember Glasscock, who is on that board.
There's still land there.
There's nothing.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out where they.
Right, I mean, that just dead ends into Century too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
Will
no.
you catch me up to date on Century 2? It wasn't very long ago. They wanted to tear it down. Now we're adding on to it.
It kind of sounds like you are if you're putting a performing arts center.
Well, no, that's the reason they stopped putting money into Century 2 to keep it up. But this group that's kind of pushing the sales tax initiative, they did polling on it a couple of years ago, right when I got on council, and they found out something like 70% of Wichitans want to keep Century 2 in some shape and form. So we actually, as a city, put $2 million into it over the last 4 years, did a new roof on it, some improvements on the inside. This would put, I think, $25 million more dollars into modernizing some new seats and whatnot in there. Just make it flow a little easier, and it can still be an event center and whatever Century 2 still does.
That's a staple in Wichita.
Right.
And photographs, it's like Golden Gate Bridge or the Empire State Building or Twin Towers were. When you see a picture of Wichita from the air, you can find Century 2 pretty
Right.
easy.
So that, all this stuff has been pulled. Most of it was in the 60s to 70%. I think the homeless services was actually the highest. And again, that shows the heart. I think that's the one that speaks to our district the most. The rest of it, it'd be nice to have a new performance arts center. I don't necessarily put that high on the list of importance, but same thing, Century 2, Bob Brown. But the homeless one and the public safety one, those are the two that I think really make a lot of sense as far as the sales tax.
Performing Arts had their own money a while back and was gonna build their own building.
And they got to about $70 million.
Yeah.
So this would be the other half. Janelle?
Okay, I have 4 things.
Yes, ma'am.
Will we eventually, hear about the problem with the city manager thing and why Dante dropped out? Will we eventually will know about that?
I think so.
Okay. Next, what's going on with the ice skating rink downtown and all the money that we are owed for the damages done?
That's still tied up in court. Part of that, we're in a lawsuit with Genesis, but then we're also in a lawsuit with the company that actually did the repairs, because we're finding that we think that there was a lot more fault on their end than necessarily Genesis with it. So, 2 separate lawsuits there essentially, still going on. We get an executive session every couple of months, just kind of an update with it. In another life, I would be a lawyer because and seeing just like how they can operate and drag things on and all the opportunities to continue to cash a check. But yeah, that's where we are with that.
Okay, the ICE raids that are going on in South Wichita. I have a friend that is involved with somebody that is undocumented, and she said there are between 6 and 8 cars parked outside her home waiting for him to come home.
Was that yesterday?
No, this was today. And she has 150 cameras.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I was with her today, not at that house, but she can see what they're doing. And the windows in those cars are completely black. You cannot see into them at all. And periodically, she said they will come up to her house and open the glass door and pound on her wooden door for her to open. And she doesn't. But and she said that she called me on my way to the meeting, said that she had heard that they're offering a $10,000 reward for the people, anybody that's on their list. If they, if you give them a tip and they find them, you get a $10,000 reward. That sounds outlandish to me. Is that even possible?
That's the federal policy at this moment. I had a
What
friend.
did he do? That's my question.
I had a friend yesterday, got picked up. He came over from Cambodia when he was 5. Got into some trouble in his early 20s, which is 20 years ago now. Got picked up yesterday. We're not participating outside of what we are federally required to do whenever it's a felony warrant. So like the actual bad guys. But aside from that, I was at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and this is one issue that came up. And I learned my ability as a municipality is really limited in this one. They were essentially teaching us how to come up with support groups for the family of people who get deported. I think it's a bunch of bull.
Oh, yeah, this person has been here for 25 years and owns businesses. I mean, it's not like he's the
Right.
worst of the worst. It's very upsetting.
They pay more federal taxes than some of our biggest companies do.
I'll tell you a story, changed my mind a lot on this. I rented to a Mexican one of my best tenants there was, he worked a roofing company, traveled all over the United States. He told me, he said, I can show you proof. I've paid out over 25, almost $30,000 to try to get legal. And he said, my lawyer's getting rich. He loves me, but I'm not getting anywhere, not with US immigration or nothing else. And he said, now, with that said, I come here when I was 3 years old. And he said, he was pushing 30. And he said, if you would take me and send me back to Mexico, it'd be like sending you to Mexico.
Right.
You couldn't speak, you don't know the language, you don't know, he said, I know the language, but he said, I don't know their customs or anything else. And he said, I'm gonna stop and think about that. And he spoke decent English. My neighbor, you know, on Greenwood and on Laura, they both went to old Mexico. Their husbands were literally coming back. The wife said, come back with the kids, no problem. The husband come back later, both of them, and said, yeah, it was a lot of hassle, but I had a Kansas license, so they let me come on through. He said, if both of them said if they hadn't had the Kansas license, they probably wouldn't be home.
Yeah, my buddy has 3 kids.
Yeah.
3 kids.
And so, you know, they say, nope, they're here illegal, go back. Well, some of them were brought here and didn't have a choice in the matter.
Well, that guy that shot those people the other day is National Guard, just ruined it for a lot of people.
Where's this list at you're talking about?
I'm sorry?
Where's this list at that you're talking about that they're offering rewards for? Like,
She said that she heard that.
oh,
And that somebody had called her and told her that she was finding it difficult to believe that they're paying ICE agents $10,000 to sign up. I mean, that's the bonus, a hiring bonus for them. So maybe it's not, I don't know. She wasn't sure that somebody told her that. And he came here when he was 7 years old and has been here ever since, owns businesses. I mean, and has made the trek to Kansas City to keep up with his immigration status. I mean, he's done the right things, and but he can't go home
Same with
because
my buddy. He was checking in with immigration, doing all the appointments he was supposed to, and
okay, last thing. What's this thing about Linwood and neighborhood?
it was a group that we kind of helped get started. I was actually surprised to hear.
They haven't told us anything in a while.
Yeah, it's mostly the apartments just south of Linwood. They're trying to get their neighborhood association going again. I think they call it Bethlehem. I believe, we got them hooked up a couple of meetings at the Linwood Center there. So Saturday, is it Saturdays, I think?
It was.
It was.
Now that they've moved to Quarterly, I have no idea. I can get their schedule from Lisa.
Yeah, I will appreciate, like I heard it today and it was, okay. So it is a group. I guess it was a fairly decent size when we first tried to get them up and going again, but if they're up to 24, that's a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, I would say so.
Are they keeping them up? Cause I looked at buying a bunch of them from that guy back in New York. He was a slumlord.
Mixed records.
Yeah.
Mixed records.
And whoever got them went through and did what I was gonna do, but pretty much, they look decent from the outside. I don't know about the inside.
Yeah. All right, any other questions?
Snoop's ever gonna reopen?
I'm trying to get Coppercue open again. I know it's outside the district, but that's where I hung out when I was young.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. All right, well, everybody, I did the Christmas Express at Watson Park last weekend. It was cold and Henry was not having it with Santa Claus. So if you have any kids a little older than that, it's a good experience. Always fun to ride the train, even when the wind is just like biting through you like knives or whatnot. But I do hope that you guys have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Next Saturday, we do have our district breakfast, which we will be having people who serve on our boards. giving updates. So many of you will be up there giving updates as well. 3 minutes, Jerry. You can do 3 minutes for us.
We got up to 5 because we had somebody.
Yeah, it said 5.
Oh,
You'd be lucky to get 2 out of me. I'll try.
I expect to dance, you know.
Well, I've been trying to work it out.
There you go. But yeah, I'd love to see you. It's at the Christian Faith Center over here off of Pawnee and Hillside. 9:30 is when we start. Best breakfast in Wichita, 100%. So Christian Faith Center, it's
Just east of Hillside on Pawnee.
Huh?
Just east of Hillside on Pawnee. It's the church, like right past.
The
it.
church?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Lutheran church.
okay, I know where that is.
so yeah, everybody come on out and yeah, hope you have a safe and happy holiday season, and I'll see you guys next year, if not sooner.
I'll see you Tuesday.
Yeah, I know you will.
Okay, so we can leave. Do we have a motion? All right, all those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? All right, thanks, everybody.
I'm surprised no one called me out on the wrong year being on your your agenda for next meeting.
Nobody reads it.
We're just gonna do 2025 over again.
No, we're not.
It was such a great meeting.
It was so many fantastic memories.
My time machine that I apparently have to get you guys back to January 2025 for next month.
We can go a couple years.
There's
before.
no
I think that'd be all right.
Yeah, me too.
Like that ice thing that's going on. I might get up